Good evening, chaps. Good evening, everyone. Cheers. Can I just ask you all, please, to charge your glasses and let's raise a toast to Eddie. Indeed, what a week. What a week it's been. As I said in that little impromptu video that I put up on Wednesday, I was never the world's biggest Van Halen fan, and it really did, kind of, it was unsettling, put it that way, when I heard the news. It's, as I said in the video, it's just like the landscape has suddenly changed. But let's be positive. Let's kind of, I've just been watching Phil McKnight, actually managed to squeeze in a quick YouTube vid before the stream, watching him building that Frankenstrat and from that Glary guitar. And I must admit, I am thinking along similar lines of doing something like that and, get it off to Zoe's place or whatever. So watch this space on that score. So how is everyone? How are you all doing? What sort of week you had, other than the obvious? I saw someone up there says they've had a touch of the old virus. I do hope you are on the mend, Evening, Dan. Dan's in, my guitar builder chap. Dan O'Sullivan, he's the guy behind Scott Guitars, and he's building me a rather nice guitar. I might have mentioned it. He was born a month after Eddie Van Halen. At 65, it came as a shock. Yeah, it was no age at all, and it's, it's just part and parcel. It's what a friend of mine described of. It's a known system feature. It's just a cold, is it, Steve? Fair enough. Ian's in. How are you, Ian? Paul from Austria's in. How are you doing, mate? Ozzy's in. What are we all drinking tonight, by the way? You can tell what I'm drinking, or you can tell how busy I've been in the week by what I'm drinking. It's been a busy week this week. I didn't have time to schlep all the way up to Aldi, so I'm just on the Morrison's tipple tonight. It's not a bad drop, it has to be said. It's lager, and it tastes lagery, and it's got the requisite ingredient, and it suits me. Oh, yes, I'd better tell you what's coming up on the channel this week, hadn't I? Tomorrow, Saturday, we have the legato video that I postponed from Wednesday. Let me just see if I can get some glare off. Oh, that's not good, is it? Let's get some extra light on in here. There we go. Yeah. So Saturday, we've got the video that I postponed from earlier in the week, the legato instructional video. Then Monday, a video that I've been promising you for a wee while now. We're taking apart a Rory Gallagher solo. It's from 73. So what's a classic Rory track from that era? Debate amongst yourselves. Tuesday, we're looking at another VST, another plugin to use in Reaper. This is a pretty accurate clone of a really classic 90s overdrive pedal. Again, how many candidates can you think of for that? Wednesday is when I tend to do like a lesson type video, and there's been a bunch of things people have been asking me about that I didn't think there was like enough meat on the bone to do an entire video on. This question someone had asked or that question, so I've bundled a load of those together. So if you're curious about pinched harmonics or you're wanting help with bar chords, those are a couple of topics that are in Wednesday's video. And Thursday, we're continuing the what, how much theme again. We did Strats yesterday, and next week it's going to be silly money single cuts. And dearie me, there are some hair-raising prices in that video. You know, it's sort of thing where you look at the price and you think, oh, that's the price. I thought it was the phone number. You know, one of those. So yes, that's what's coming up on the channel this week. And yeah, I've even got not Monday's video, but the Monday after's video planned as well. We're going to be looking at a Richie Blackmore solo. So I like to think ahead. Cheers, by the way, everyone. Dearie me, that first one never touches the sides. Oh, you're waiting on the Moa preamp live, are you, Steve? I've heard nothing but good stuff about that Moa gear, so I'd be interested in your thoughts on that. A fact about Eddie Van Halen: people don't mention he used copper picks and he kept them under his tongue in the exact place he got cancer of the tongue. This is what spread to his throat, his own words. I didn't know that. I didn't know he used copper picks. I do know that, oh dear me, 30-odd years ago, when I used to buy Guitar Player magazine, you know, the American one, there was a big poster they gave away in one issue, which was like a bunch of like 100 different famous guitarists' picks. And I remember Eddie Van Halen's pick being on there, but it wasn't copper. It was one of, you know, the sort of tortoiseshell type plastic ones. So I guess he must have gone to copper at some point. I used to use a brass pick, and it was great because I do like a really rigid plectrum. But it was just chewing through strings. And I think it's probably a mark of how light a touch Eddie possibly had, because if he's using a copper pick, a metal pick, on famously used to use, what was it, 8-gauge strings, dearie me, it would have been carnage for me. There would have been, I wouldn't have got through a song, let alone a gig, without busting at least a string. Yeah, I agree with you, Anton. I don't seem to see Guitar Player mag anymore. Anyway, it's my favourite era of guitar magazines was when, from say about the late 80s to the late 90s, when Guitarist magazine was just this small, independently run magazine it had like a very British feel to it and a very sort of British sense of humour. If you're a real kind of guitar magazine nerd like I am, then you might remember Jan Serker and his mate doing these characters on the CD, a pair of characters called Jack and Bobby, that used to do album reviews and demo reviews and stuff on the CD, and it was really funny. And then the Guitarist magazine was bought out by I think it was Bauer Media, some big conglomerate, and it just became all very corporate and humorless and not very good. And you could tell, you know, the reviews were, well, let's say the reviews were informed by the amount of money advertisers had spent in the magazine that month. I ended up losing interest. Yeah, true, Anton. Copper's quite soft compared to steel strings, but it's not as soft as plastic. You know, and you know, I don't usually go in for all of this kind of tone nerdishness, but I would swear there was a better tone I used to get when I used to use a brass pick. But as I say, you know, it's no good if you're kind of chowing through strings. And it was actually, I was using a Strat at the time, and it had EMG pickups in it. And you know, the kind of plastic and the EMG pickups are encapsulated in. I was gouging lumps out of the EMG neck pickup. Hi, Bob. You're saying, thanks for the tips on record. Not a chance to do anything about it yet, so I just got back from Edinburgh. Fair enough, mate. Well, just give it a go and let me know how you get on, and we'll take it from there, mate. Oh, Brad, you did your charity guitar performance. You did 5-minute medley of your own stuff, and despite a few hairy moments, it went well. Buzzing. Yeah, yeah. It's that is, you know, I remember my first proper gig. You know, as in, I was probably in me late teens. No, younger than that. I think I was still at school. And you know, you're so nervous beforehand, and then you do it and it goes well, and you make your mistakes and you get away with them, and you know, you kind of learn that a mistake isn't necessarily the end of the world, and you're buzzing off that audience reaction for a good wee while, aren't you? Good evening, says Pix Gaming. Good evening to you. Somebody's dissing Rob Chapman there. Yes, unusually so. Don't keep your metal picks in your mouth. No, it's I have this when I need to kind of get rid of the pick. Here's one I prepared earlier. Let's see if I can show you this. That's me pick for when I'm kind of picking, and then when I want to do either some finger style or some tapping or something, I just have this little kind of thing where I can tuck it into there, and I can just do that, and it's boom. It's like a magician hiding a coin, you know, and that's how I've always done it. So it's I would like to back in the days when I was gigging a lot. It would have been impossible to put the pick in my mouth at any given point because there was usually a cigarette in there, but not these days, obviously. My missus used to say she knew whenever I used to make mistakes from the faces I'd pull, I'd stop making them now, and I'm great. Yeah. Little tip for you. Right. This was taught to me many years ago by another guitarist I was in a band with. He says, if you make a mistake, the audience can hear the mistake, but they don't necessarily know who's made it on stage. So what you do, if you make a mistake, give an absolutely filthy, evil, stink-eye stare over at the bass player. And, you know, then the audience see that and think, oh, it was him, was it? And, you know, you get a bit of a tongue lashing in the dressing room afterwards, but who cares? What's the best pick with a decent grip? I have for many years now been a devotee of the Dunlop Jazz 3. These here, they've just got just enough texture. It's not kind of like a textured surface, but it's just the actual raised writing on the pick, and that's you know, it's I like the nice pointy end to it, and it's big enough to do kind of carefree sort of strummy stuff, and it's you know, kind of small and accurate enough that you can do kind of more intricate single note stuff. That's what I use. Although there is a guy who is, well, he sent me some pics actually to do a review of, but all it turned up was the envelope. Someone at Royal Mail had opened them, nicked them, stolen them, and then put the envelope back into the system. So I never actually got them. He's going to be getting some more out to me soon. But apparently they've got like some, I think they're magnetic or something, so that you can attach them to like the bridge of your guitar or something like that. But he also says they've got enhanced grip. Ever watch the Just Nick channel and your thoughts on Friedman amps? No, I've never heard of the Just Nick channel, and I've never played through a Friedman amp, so I can't really offer an opinion there. You see, Friedman are one of these companies that sort of came on the scene after I'd stopped gigging regularly, so, you know, I've never had an opportunity to play through any of their stuff. You know, it's probably the best amp I've played through. I have to say, in terms of tone, was my Marshall Anniversary combo. Dearie me, that was a beautiful amp. If you see one, and it's a good price, Marshall 30th anniversary combo, grab it. But be prepared, budget on having to have it repaired quite regularly. But 3 channels, and the clean channel, unusually for a Marshall, was absolutely beautiful. It was a really rich, warm but transparent tone. The crunch channel had like different modes that you could run it in. You could get like a JTM 45 mode out of it, or you could get like a JCM 800 kind of sound out of it, or a plexi sound out of it. And the full-on high gain channel was very sort of boogie-ish, and beautiful amp. But as I say, kind of, it was a Marshall, so it was, as well as being incredibly loud, it was unreliable. I used to play gigs with that amp where we would be like in sort of big concert room sort of situations, and it didn't need miking up. It was loud enough to not have to go out through the PA. And that was on the 25 watt setting, because you could kind of have 150 or 25 watt setting, and it was a loud beast. But until it just kind of cut out, and then it made no noise at all. No, I think it was Max. I think it was the model number was the 6101 combo. I think that was the model number of it, but it was the 30th anniversary combo, basically, that came out, I think, in '93, and the ones that were made in '90, because they kept the model going for some years, but the model that came out in '93 had like a sort of purple kind of vinyl cover, like the usual sort of black coloured Marshalls. These were purple, and I had one of those. Oh, Craig, you've got the 30th anniversary cab. Yeah. I wish I could remember what speaker was in mine. I can't. I honestly can't. But it was just a 1B12 combo, and it was immense. What you're saying there, Geronimo, had a poor experience with Guitar Rig 5 about a year ago and did not care for it. I tried the new Guitar Rig 6 and it currently has made me forget my katana. Yeah. See, I've got Guitar Rig 5 and I use that a hell of a lot. It's the presets sound good for a start off. They're not, well, the ones that I kind of base my sound on. They're really good sounding presets. I use, as the basis for my main lead tone, I use the early Edward. There's that chap again, preset, and just tweaked it a little bit. And it's very user friendly, I find. Jero's in. How are you, Jero? I'll be speaking to Jero in the morning. He's one of my students in Italy. Oh, Guitar Rig 5 is all you use, is it, Dan? Really? Yeah. Well, I like to mix it up a bit every now and again. I still like the Blue Cat preamp, and the way I run that is I kind of run sort of 2 in parallel, panned hard left and right, and a bit of delay on one of them, and then you get a big sort of stereo double tracked sound. And the thing is, I've got a preset which is basically that sound in Guitar Rig. So I might do an A/B comparison at some point between those two. That'd be an idea for a video. But I do like the sort of classic drive sound in guitar in Blue Cat preamp. It's very, very plexi-ish. When you get a new guitar, what steps do you do to ensure a good setup? I will usually, well, it depends. If it comes with a set of 10 gauge strings on it, 10 to 46s, I'll just kind of leave them on until they are, until they need changing, assuming that they're in decent shape. But assuming that they don't have those strings on, first thing I'll do is put a set of 10 to 46 gauge legacy strings on. These are the strings I use, legacy brand strings. Stick a set of those on. Adjust the truss rod. I don't do it by the numbers. I just do it by feel and eye. I do that kind of sighting down the neck and looking for the neck relief, and by feel, and then set the action, and then set the intonation. I like to do the intonation last to make sure that, because if you do the intonation, I find that if you then adjust the action, you often have to go back and redo the intonation. Then just get it playing like the way I want it, and then just check that there's no fret buzz. And if there is any fret buzz, I can't find it. What I'll usually do, I usually tend to have what I call the half a dozen rule, or the rule of 6, which you may have heard of recently in the news. Basically, if I'm getting fret buzz on more than 6 frets, with the action set how I want it and the neck relief set how I want it, I will just do a full kind of fret dress, level and crown. And if it's less than 6 frets, like 3 or 4 frets, I'll just do a bit of spot leveling on those frets, just using a crowning file. And then the guitar is usually set up how I like it. Watched a recent-ish video of yours re-recording. You were using Reaper. Do you still use Reaper? Yes, I do. Have you tried other DAWs? Yes, I was a big user of Cakewalk and then Sonar for many years. My experience with DAWs is I started off with Cubase back in about 2001, and I think it's fair to say it was my lack of knowledge in terms of getting a DAW to work on. I think I was using Windows 98 at the time, getting it to work successfully on there. But then I tried Cakewalk, Cakewalk Pro Audio 9 I was using at the time as a DAW, and just found it intuitive, and then went on to Music Creator, and then went on to Sonar, and then Cakewalk sort of disappeared and then reappeared, and I didn't like the new version of it, so I went to Reaper after that, and I'm really I love Reaper. It's just ridiculously versatile and easy to use once you get your head into the Reaper kind of mindset. And for I think about 70 quid for a license, it's peanuts. I know. Oh, you use Cakewalk, do you, Ozzy? Yeah, I use it. I used to use it. I could probably find my way back around it, going back to it, but it's just when it was, because it ended up being bought by Gibson, and then they shut it down, and then it was resurrected by BandLab, and I don't know, I just never kind of quite got into the BandLab version of it. It was just, I was having to relearn it, and I'd already kind of had a little bit of experience with Reaper, and I was thinking, well, do you know what? I'll just go with Reaper. And Stevie Hoggett's in. Just seen him scroll past there. Hi, gang. Hope you're all good. Another alcohol-free day for the Hogman. Oh, dearie me, Stevie Hoggett, 27D Productions. Well, cheers, Steve. There we go. Dearie me, it's tasting rather good tonight, I have to say. And yes, and I've got an early start. I've got an early start every morning. I get up at daft o'clock, but I'm teaching at 8 o'clock in the morning. So apologies to my 8 a.m. student in the morning. I might not be, firing on all cylinders. No, I'll be fine. There we go. And of course, Friday night is curry night, so there's a curry later. You have one bottle of Hobgoblin. Yo, I don't like that stuff. I do, but it doesn't like me. It's not my it's not my favoured brew. It tends to make me a little bit thick-headed the next day, it has to be said. Oh, Nightwish Lover, yeah. There's a lot of Cakewalk devotees out there. And if anybody has any experience with Ableton and troubleshooting with Ableton, I'm sure Bottleneck Bob would appreciate some advice, because he's having a little bit of a rough time with Ableton at the moment. If you want to kind of pass on any advice to me, you can get me through the website or wherever, or just grguitartuition@gmail.com. Any troubleshooting tips with Ableton, I'll pass them on to Bottleneck Bob, because, as I say, he's struggling with it at the moment. Yeah, the only other person I think I know who uses Ableton, like as a YouTuber, is what's he called? Jake from Signals Music Studio. He tends to mention it a lot. Does your 8 o'clock lesson ever get a refund? No, because it's I'm usually compass mentis enough to be able to kind of do the lesson. As I say, I get up at 5:30, so strong coffee, hot shower, walk the dog, fresh air, bacon sandwich. I'm usually kind of about right by about 8 o'clock. John, I'm a 62-plus-year-old bass player who's decided to bite the bullet and buy my first electric guitar, Harley Benton CST 24, partly because of a review that you did. Yeah, they are great guitars. The CST 24 is it's the PRS copy. And speaking as somebody who's owned a PRS, yes, there are differences, but the differences are in, things that you can do something about. You can change the pickups, and you can adjust the kind of setup of the guitar, and you can fret dress it, and you can get it playing as good as any guitar can ever be made to be played. And they get the job done. I don't have anything against high-end guitars. The one note of caution I would kind of sound to anybody who is thinking, if they're looking at the how much videos that I'm doing where we're looking at silly money strats or silly money single cuts, which is coming up next week, is you do have to factor in the cost of insuring them. You will find there's probably a clause on your home insurance policy, on your contents insurance, that excludes any single item over a certain value. And then if you try putting like a $3,000 guitar on your home contents insurance, just see what that does to your premium. What's that? You also have Vanson Alnico 2 pickups, and just want to know the wiring for a CST 24, please. I put my Vanson Alnico 2 PAFs on that. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. It's out of shot, but it's kind of over there. over from that sort of Telecaster. I put them on, and all I did was just copy the wiring one for one from the pickups that were actually on it. And, you know, can you not get instrument insurance? Yes, you can. But I used to have instrument insurance from when I was gigging, but again, it turned out to be not worth the premium because there was so many get out clauses for the insurance company to kind of not pay you if anything happened. Yeah, but Scott, I just used to when I wired the Vanson pickups into the CST24, I just looked at which wires were coming off the original on mine Wilkinson pickups, and copied the wiring. You put a PRS on the insurance, 20 quid a year more. Okay, well that's more than I was quoted. Fair enough. I have 5 guitars. My wife has 6 handbags. Am I due a new guitar? Yes. Have I seen the new Epiphone Bonamassa? No, I haven't. I have seen an Epiphone Bonamassa, the gold top thing, but I haven't seen that. I didn't even know there was a new one, so I haven't seen it. If you join the Musicians Union, you get gear cover. What a brilliant tip, Bob. Thank you. I didn't know that. I was unaware of that. I've never been a member of the Musicians Union. I just never saw, the advantages of paying the union dues, really. Yeah, I didn't know about that, Rob. I didn't know about the instrument cover. That is worth thinking about. I'm going to look into that. Thanks for the tip. The new Epiphone Bonamassa Black Beauty. Oh, I have a bit of a thing about, as you will see in the video that's coming up on single cuts this week. I do have a bit of a thing about Black Beauty Les Pauls. There is something about that Black Beauty Les Paul custom, especially the 3 pickup one, because I'm a Peter Frampton fan. There's just something about it, isn't it? It's got that sort of Steinway grand piano look about it. Evening, Colin. How are you, mate? Have I ever tried Warman pickups? No, I haven't. That's one of the brands I haven't checked out, and I'm thinking about doing some pickup reviews because I've got that black Strat copy over there that you can see, and that's kind of my test bed guitar for doing pickup reviews. So I might be looking into that. Well, apparently all of us muso types have got to retrain and find a real job. Never. I'll tell you what, mate. Seriously, on that topic, I mean, I'm a 53-year-old bloke. I've been a musician, self-employed, since I was 24. Okay, so that's nearly as makes no difference, 30 years. And a few years ago, let's say back to about 2015, 2016, my wife wasn't very well. She's fine now, but she had a few health issues back then. And, this was round about the time the steelworks round here closed down. I wasn't doing the Skype lessons at the time. And I didn't really have much of a presence on YouTube, and I wasn't doing the courses. I was essentially relying upon people kind of coming to my front door for guitar lessons. And I was suffering, and what I was making from the guitar lessons wasn't enough to pay the bills. And she was out of work and, as I say, in and out of hospital. So I started looking around for jobs. I started bunging my CV into places. And let me tell you this. If you've got 30 years or near enough 25, 30 years on your CV of self-employment, it's, there are people who kind of spend 20 years in prison for murder who can come out and find a job easier than you can find a job if you've got like 25 years of self-employment on your CV. Employers don't want to know. Am I from Scunthorpe? No, I'm from Middlesbrough. Originally, I live in Redcar now, but no, I'm not from Scunthorpe. I think I have been there once as a kid, because we once went on a caravan holiday to Skegness. Yes, I know. The exotic destination of Skegness, and I think we went to Scunthorpe as part of a day trip there. I don't look a day over 54. Well, thank you, mate. Indeed. It's the thing is, some people often say I look younger than my age, and that's because you don't get wrinkles on a balloon, do you? Yeah, plus the taxman wants your head on his wall. Yeah, here's the thing about the taxman, Ozzy. They've always been very good to me, I have to say. When self-assessment first came in back in the 90s, before then, I just used to have me accountant do a set of accounts, and I'd send them off to the taxman, and they'd send me a bill, and that was it, And then you had to start doing it yourself. So I thought, well, what am I paying an accountant for? So I filled in the form, and back then, because it was the first sort of year of self-assessment, this was about 97-ish, I think. And they had this thing where you could take your form into the local tax office and get it checked. And the tax inspector looked through the form, and she said, well, Mr. Robson, I can see one or two things here that are quite questionable, the things that you're claiming. But I can also see a lot more things that you could be claiming for and you're not. I said, you want to tell me what those are? And she says, well, that's for me to know and you to find out. So basically, I've always had a good relationship with the taxman. They've always, just taken my figures and said, okay, fair enough. There you go. There's your bill. Pay on time, and you're fine. Just when you said about steelworks, my beer o'clock was all last night and the night before. Might have to have a hair of the dog again. Yes, indeed. Well, my plan is that I usually have a beer or two on a Friday, as you know. And then Saturday, I don't usually kind of plan on having a beer, but that doesn't often work out. And then Sundays, well, it's Sunday, isn't it? And especially since Top Gear's started again on the Sunday, you got to sit down in front of Top Gear and have a couple of bevies, haven't you? I'd like to pay as much tax as Trump did, only $760 in a year. Well, fair enough, I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, we could get into go down a bit of a rabbit hole here, couldn't we? Talking about tax dodging kind of rich people, and just get wound up beyond belief, and that's not what my Fridays are about. How many extra beers do you have with your curry after? How many extra beers do you have with your curry after, John? Well, I usually have about 4 when I'm chatting with you lads. And then there'll be a couple with the curry, and then there'll be a few more after the curry. It's often kind of into double figures. Let's put it that way. What do pelicans, penguins, and the Inland Revenue have in common? They can all stick their bills up their arse. Yes. Thank you, Bob. If I'm not mistaken, you've probably been watching Auf Wiedersehen, Pet, because that was one of the gags on the first episode of that. I've been rewatching the old 80s series of that again, Auf Wiedersehen, Pet. What a cracking show that was, and great theme music as well. Where are we? Yes, Bob, good one. How's your charity doing? It's not my charity, Deco. It's Zoe's Place. They're a local charity around here, and they are the sort of local charity that pretty much everybody supports around here, because, you know, all of the big charities, all the ones that can afford TV advertising and stuff, you know, they get a lot of attention. And Zoe's Place around here, they don't, you know, they don't have the budget for that. I do know they're hurting for a bit of cash at the moment, so that's why I've been donating. Well, I haven't been donating. I've been trying to kind of raise donations for them once again. You know, they're a great charity, Zoe's Place. Check out the outtakes of Auf Wiedersehen put on YouTube. Barry in the Big Blue Bog. Yes. Well, Zoe's Place is the charity that shouldn't need to exist, but they do. I mean, you know, that's just the way life is, isn't it? Life ain't fair, and unfortunately, young children do get very seriously ill, and you know, they do what they can to help. The idea for a hospice for children is horrendous, isn't it? Yeah, it is, but it's probably up on YouTube somewhere. But if you remember that show that used to be on, The Secret Millionaire, there was a guy who came up to Redcar and basically did a lot of good for. I think Dave Jamley, he was called, who did a lot of good for Zoe's Place. Yeah, I've been ill. I self-medicated the other day. Honey, lemon juice, and hot water, and a bottle of brandy. Next day was okay, just a bit of a blur. Yeah, that's. I mean, I remember back in the 70s when I was a young wee whippersnapper. Benylin was always the order of the day. I must have been about 14 before I realised that my name was John. Because it was whenever me mother wanted to kind of get a hold of me, it was our John. I thought that's what it said on my birth certificate, our John. But it was our John. Come over here and have some Benylin. I said, I'm not. I haven't got a cold. Yes, you have. Get some Benylin down you. And that was me kind of out for the count. Working on the site from morning till night, that's living all right. Yes, you know the theme tune, don't you, Com? I actually did a cover version of that years ago on Songcrafters. Anybody who's into home recording or who just likes kind of mixing with other musicians, get yourself over to songcrafters.org. Fantastic message board there. Spend a night with a boy. Yes, we're all getting the lyrics from the theme tune, aren't we? Now, a night with the boys and a bar full of noise. Crowning file advice worth splashing out. Yes, it is. Let me just find the one I use. Hang on. Let me bring up the toolbox. Pieces of equipment I use on a regular basis. These radius cages. There's me fret leveling file. Obviously, you're going to need a fret rocker. And for a little bit of cheeky spot leveling, one of these things here. This is a fantastic little crowning file. There's a guy sells them on eBay, and I wish I could remember his name. But if you search for fret crowning files and look for one that looks like this, you'll find the guy. I've had this years, and it's just great for, you know, because it's got, like, you can see there, let's hold it, try and kind of get the light on it. It's a concave file, and you can put on, you know, you can just kind of take a fret down so that it's level with its neighbors, without having to kind of, you know, do the whole kind of crowning and leveling thing. And then the other thing, I've got a full set of these, well, can't dig them out. These Crimson guitars fret erasers, fantastic things. There's actually, there they are, the full set. You've got coarse, you've got medium, you've got fine and super fine, and it's rather than kind of going through all the different grits of sandpapers to kind of get your frets nice up to a shine after you've, you know, done a bit of leveling, just use those. And they're also great for getting rid of fret sprout. If you use the coarse one, if you've got, like, you know, kind of frets, sharp fret ends sticking out the side of the neck, use those. The coarse one, it's brilliant for kind of taming some cheese grater frets. Buy once, buy right with tools. Mr. Hosco nut files weren't cheap, but worth every penny. Yeah, what I do if I need to file a nut down is I don't bother. I just fit a new nut usually. You know, if you buy like a newborn or a tusk nut or something like that, how it already has the slots cut. Well, they're not guaranteed to be. Oh, thank you, Mikhail. I will pass that on. I will make sure that gets to Zoe's place. Thank you so much. That is incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. I will pass that on to Zoe's place as soon as the YouTube revenue comes in. Yes, you need the neck protectors, but with that crowning file, you get a couple of those as part of the deal. What was I going to say? Can't remember. No, lost me train of thought. Oh, Dave's in. How are you, Dave? Yeah, nuts. Yes. If you buy the like a tusk nut or something like that, where it's already got the grooves already cut, all I do to get the nut to the right length is I just take material off the bottom of the nut, just drop it in, try it, drop it in, try it, and take a little bit more off, and that seems to be, you know, it works for me. I'm not saying it's the best way of doing it. I'm restringing a guitar after leveling some frets, crowning and polishing. Thanks, life. This is how I always want to spend my Friday evenings. Well, it's better than golf, though, isn't it, Con? You know. Right, the last beer before the curry. It's homemade curry this evening, by the way. I've been a busy lad. I've done a big batch full of curry recently, and just got one of those out the freezer. And in true Northeast fashion, it's not curry with rice, it's curry with chips. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Johnny. As I say, I will pass these contributions on to Zoe's place. It's, oh dear me, guys, you know, thank you. You know, I don't know what to say. Yes, cheers, everyone. I'd rather buy a new guitar than a set of golf bats. Yes, indeed. I used to work in an electronics company. I was your typical lab rat. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. I got promoted when and this company was a Japanese company, and I got promoted to you know that kind of promotion that you get where you're no longer on an hourly rate, but you go on a kind of salary, and it's like going from being the enlisted kind of class to you're now part of the officer class. And part of the deal was you were expected to go and have a game of golf with the managing director and the kind of high ups on a Saturday morning. And I did it once. Dear me. Golf is not my sport. Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much. I will tot up when I get my YouTube revenue report in. I will tot up all of these super chats, and I'll just ping off a PayPal payment over to Zoe's place. Thank you so much. Oh, and Anton as well. I mean, you guys, your generosity. I mean, people have been saying to me, oh, the great work you're doing for Zoe's place. All I'm doing is I'm just sitting here talking to a camera. You guys are the ones putting your hands in your pocket. Thank you so much. Ozzy's not a golfist either. As someone who plays golf, I agree. I would prefer to spend my money on guitars and related paraphernalia than clubs. Mine were 20 quid in a charity shop. There you go. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you, Anton. That's very kind of you to say so. I mean, it's been a long time in the making, this channel. I started on YouTube in 2008, and it took me 10 years before I even got monetized. And I still don't think of myself as a YouTuber. I'm on YouTube, but I don't think of that as being the thing that kind of motivates me. I just enjoy making the videos, and it sort of tickles the old creative muscle. How much alcohol is your beer? My Swedish beer is strong. Okay, this is where is it? Oh, there you go, 4.8%. That's what this is. So it's it's kind of it's a nice drink. I don't play darts. My missus says it's a good walk, spoiled though. I play darts. My missus says it's a good walk, spoiled though. Yeah, I used to be quite handy at darts, actually. I used to be quite the lad for a game of arrows down the pub. But I think it's because I could stand on the hockey, and pretty much because I'm 6'7", I could just sort of reach over and drop them in the board. Thank you, Pseudo Scott. Thank you so much. Going to grab a big bottle of Amstel beer. Got to be done. I used to play golf at Flamborough Head and Filey. Hated teeing off near the water at Filey. Yes, that's near enough to me, Flamborough Head. Been there many times. That was quite the Sunday trip out when I was a kid. Go down to Flamborough Head. Usually on some windy, rain-lashed day. For a day out on a Sunday, and then. Kind of a bit of a detour and go around Castle Howard Stately Home on the way back. Thank you, Scott. Oh, it's Andrew. Pseudo is your pseudonym. Well, and Bully special prize, indeed. Yes. Yes, indeed. Bullseye. That was when game shows were game shows, wasn't it? I mean, they did darts as a game show, didn't they? and they even did snooker as a game show. I think they did like. Thank you, Alan. I think they even did golf as a game show. That thing with kind of Jimmy Tarbuck. Big Full Swing, it was called back in the 90s. But they've never done the main activity of being in a pub as a game show. I want to see drinking as a game show. That would be cool. Jimmy Tarbrush, yes. Big Break, love that show. Yes, indeed. When Karen and Gary from Doncaster won a speedboat, yes, indeed. Golden Shot. Yes, Ian, I remember that one. Bob Monkhouse, and then it was Norman Vaughan, wasn't it? And then who was it? Charlie Williams after that, and then it went back to Bob Monkhouse again. Yeah, let's have a game show that involves people phoning in to a TV studio to aim a crossbow at a target. Can you imagine that getting past health and safety these days? Yes, Heinz the Bolt. Golden Balls, that's the Jasper Carrot game show, isn't it? Stiff Little Fingers used to have a virtual pub on their website. I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. Any moment now we'll be talking about the Fast Show. Yes. Well, there's been a bit of a retrospective about that on TV at the moment, hasn't there? And I still think of that as fairly recent, and it scared me to think it was like 25 years ago, the Fast Show. Dear me. Yes, it was Bernie the Bolt. You're right, Steve. Bernie the Bolt. The Fast Show. Brilliant. Don't forget Ann Aston on the Golden Shot. Oh, yes. Ann Aston. She was a source of inspiration for many a lad in the 70s, wasn't she? Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you. That's some sort of money you're raising here for Zoe's Place, guys. Thank you so much. Again, when people say that, I'm doing a lot of work for Zoe's Place, no, I'm not. I've mentioned the name a few times. I've done a few videos, which has cost me nothing. I mean, okay, yeah, I was selling guitars for them on eBay, and I had a few eBay sellers costs and stuff like that. But but it's, I mean, come on, guys, thank you so much. That's really, really generous of you. I was only thinking of the Fast Show the other day. I was comparing picking out a new guitar to picking out. Sounded like Swiss Tony. There's a bloke actually on. I don't know if you get if these ads go nationally, but there's a bloke who's obviously the owner of a Volvo dealership up here. And apart from the fact that he speaks in a Geordie accent, he is Swiss Tony. What about A Round with Alice? Oh, yes, I remember Pro Celebrity Golf and all that. Oh, dear me. Yes. Suits you, sir. You off, are you, Mikhail? Good for you, mate. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, mate. I won't be long myself. I've just got this beer to finish here, and then it's going to be curry o'clock. Ralph and Ted, indeed. Yes. The best Ralph and Ted sketch was when they were doing the drinking game. If you know what I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. That's just genius comedy writing. Do I remember the TV show Guitar Star? Yes, I do. I actually almost applied to be on that, but they didn't have an audition centre near me, and it would have been essentially days travelling to get there, an overnight stay to audition, and then a day's travelling back, and it was just like too expensive for me to kind of go and do it. Yeah, Steve, it was big break. The snooker show with Jim Davidson and John Virgo. Yes, Anton, I was very, very drunk. I'm planning on kind of being able to say that later on this evening. Anyway, chaps, we've been on an hour. We've been waffling away and blethering away for an hour, and I am starting to get a bit peckish, and there's a curry downstairs that just needs sticking in the microwave. So I'm going to kind of love you and leave you. Excuse me. There we go. It is now officially curry o'clock. So thank you once again, everyone, for turning up. Thank you for your generosity in your Zoe's Place donations. I will obviously make sure that the money goes to Zoe's Place as soon as the money comes in from YouTube. And well, again, thanks for turning up, and I'll see you all in the next video. But for now, time, gentlemen, please. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.